So this is the second pencast on simplifying expressions, and what we want to do is look at a couple more challenging examples. So in example A, we have this 2 on the outside of the brackets, and the brackets are the outermost set of grouping symbols. But we also have 2 sets of parentheses. So whenever we're simplifying expressions, we want to, just like in order of operations, work with the innermost set of parentheses first. Now, we also, if we have any subtraction, we want to change that to addition of the opposite sign. So where I see that subtraction, I'm going to change it to plus a negative. And since it's directly outside of this parenthesis, I want to make that a negative 1. Alright, so I'm ready to do the innermost set of parentheses first. So I'm going to multiply the 5 by the 1/2 a and the 3. So that's going to give me 2 times 5 times 1/2. Remember, you can make that 5 over 1. And then if we multiply straight across, we get 5/2 a. Plus 5 times 3 is 15. Plus, now we're going to distribute this negative 1. So negative 1 times a squared is negative 1a squared. Plus negative 1 times a is negative 1a. Plus 4. Notice that this 4 does not get multiplied by that negative 1 because it was not inside that set of parentheses. Alright, now at this stage we could distribute the 2 if we wanted to, but it's going to be easier really if we combine like terms first, then we'll have less distribution to do. So I am going to reorder the expression inside the brackets by what's called descending order of degree. So I'll start with the largest exponent on a variable term. So a squared, and then the a terms, and then the constant or number terms. So we've got 2, and then a bracket, and then we've got negative 1 a squared plus 5/2 a plus negative 1a plus 4. Alright, now when we look at this, the 5/2 a, that's a fraction, and we want to add that to a negative number. So at this point, you may be better off seeing if distributing the 2 doesn't get rid of that fraction. Sometimes it will. So we might as well go ahead. We've got them at least in order, and we've got the like terms grouped with one another. So let's go ahead and distribute that 2 on the outside of the bracket. So we're multiplying that 2 to each and every single term inside the brackets. So 2 times negative 1a squared is negative 2a squared plus. Now once again, when you think of the 2 on the outside and the 5/2 a, let's just go off to the side here real quick. 2 times 5/2 a. Well, that's really 2 over 1 times 5 over 2a. And we can see that the 2's are going to cancel on this diagonal, which leaves us with 5 over 1a, and 5 over 1 is really just 5, so that's 5a. So we've got a 5a plus 2 times negative 1a is negative 2a plus 2 times 4 is 8. Last thing we want to do is now go ahead and combine those like terms, which is a lot easier because we don't have a fraction anymore. So it's negative 2a squared plus 5 plus negative 2 is going to give me 3. So that's 3a plus 8. And we're done with that example. So we go ahead and box our answer. Now when we look at example A, it looks like it's going to be really, really challenging. But once again, we're going to start with it and just work piece by piece from the innermost sets of parentheses to the outermost sets of parentheses. And of course, the first thing we're going to do is anywhere we see subtraction, we're going to change it to addition of the opposite sign. So minus positive 8 becomes plus negative 8. Minus positive 1.5 becomes plus negative 1.5. Minus 6 becomes plus negative 6. And so we've gotten rid of all the subtraction. And now what we need to do is locate the innermost set of parentheses. So we've got a set of brackets on the outside. Within the brackets we have within the curly brackets we have a set of what are called hard brackets. And within the hard brackets we have this set of parentheses. So that set of parentheses is the innermost grouping symbol. So we're going to work on that one first. So we're going to distribute the negative 1.5 to the x and the 4. And everything else will stay the same in this step. So we've got 2.2, and then a curly bracket, 4 plus negative 8, hard bracket, 6x plus. And now we're at our distribution. So negative 1.5 times x is just negative 1.5x plus, now we need to do negative 1.5 times 4. Well, once again, 1.5 we can think of as 15. So we're really doing 15 times 4, which is 60. But it wasn't 15, it was 1.5. So we had one decimal digit. So we need to add back in one decimal digit, and we see that it's 6.0 or 6. So it was a negative 1.5. We're multiplying a negative by a positive, so our answer is negative. That gives us negative 6. And then we still have this plus negative 6. And then we just continue. Plus 7.5x, and then our curly bracket. Now once again, before I distribute this negative 8, what I'd like to do is combine my like terms. And they are already grouped next to one another, so I'm just going to go ahead and combine them in this step. So we've got 2.2, curly bracket, 4 plus negative 8, hard bracket. Now 6 plus negative 1.5 is just like subtracting 1.5 from 6. So from 6, if we subtract 1, we get 5, and if we subtract another half, we get 4.5. So that's 4.5x plus negative 6 plus negative 6 is negative 12. Plus 7.5x. And then our curly bracket. Now we're ready to go ahead and distribute the negative 8. So that's going to give us 2.2 curly bracket and then 4 plus. Now when I'm doing this negative 8 times 4.5, the way I think about it is that 8 times 4 is 32. And then 8 times 0.5 is really saying 1/2 of 8, which is 4, which would give us 36. And since it's a negative times a positive, our answer is negative. So we would get negative 36x plus, and then negative 8 times negative 12. So a negative times a negative is positive, and 8 times 12 is 96. Plus 7.5x. Once again, what we want to do is rearrange these terms in the curly bracket so that the like terms are next to one another, and then we'll go ahead and combine like terms. So we've got 2.2 curly bracket, 4 plus negative, so 4, and then we've got our 96 plus negative 36x plus 7.5x in a curly bracket. So we've got 2.2 and then a curly bracket. Now 4 plus 96, that's 100, plus Now once again here, when we look at the variable term, we've got negative 36x plus 7.5x. So we've got a negative plus a positive. So different signs, we subtract and keep the sign of the larger magnitude. So if I think about 36, if I subtract 7, that's going to give me 29. And then I need to take away another half, so that's going to give me 28.5. So that's negative 28.5x. It's negative because the 36 was negative, which is larger than the positive 7.5. Then the last thing we need to do is distribute this 2.2. Now at this point you may need to grab your calculator. 2.2 times 100 is easy because all you have to do is move the decimal 2 places to the right, and that gives us 220 plus. But the 2.2 times negative 28.5, you may need to grab your calculator for that one, but it's negative 62.7x. And then of course we want the x term to come first. We want to write these in descending order of degree. So we're going to rearrange this to make it negative 62.7x plus 220. And we're done.